American Pie is one of the greatest 90s movies of all time, or so I thought. After rewatching American Pie, it came across different and surprised me in a different way. So here are the 3 things I learned from rewatching American Pie. In at number 1, Stifler carries American Pie. From the get-go, it was clear to see when rewatching the American Pie franchise is that Steven Stifler is clearly the beating heart of the American Pie franchise. And without him, I don't think the franchise and the original film is as big as what it is to this day, of known as one of the greatest 90s movies of all time, and sort of carries so many scenes that he's in. It's not really the first film where you go, oh, okay, he's the clear one that is carrying the film, but it's noticeable within this film that as the films go by, you notice that he'll be the one dragging this sort of franchise, especially in Reunion and a little bit in Wedding when Oz isn't in it. So that's why it's a little bit surprising to me on the rewatch, because I always thought, no, what, Jim was the main character. But when rewatching it, you're always waiting for Stifler's jokes, and you're always hanging on to every word that Steven Stifler / Sean William Scott says in this film and all the others. In at number 2, American Pie cringe? I mean, American Pie has always been accused of being cringe by many, many people. And I didn't really see it that way. I just thought, get over yourself, it's a comedy, you know what I mean? It's one of those. But now I'm sort of seeing little bits where you're like, okay, that I can see where you come from. It's a little bit cringe in parts. But that doesn't take away from how funny the actual film is. And I get there's some people out there saying, oh, American Pie is not funny. But out of the 90s films that you had at the selection, this was very unique, because out of that sort of teenage growing up, that sort of coming of age film, this is clearly one of the very best at that. And even though it goes over the top of Jim fucking a pie and Jim broadcasting Nadia to the whole neighborhood, and the list goes on of Jim's antics throughout the entire American Pie franchise, not just the first film, but it's just clear to me that yes, whilst there's a hint of cringe, I do think the funniness outweighs that, in my opinion. And unfortunately for some, if you don't enjoy it, that's sort of a you problem. But I'm on the verge of saying, yes, I can see where people might be coming from, but I do think that this film is still funny in 2026. If you enjoy our 3 Things I Learned videos, then you definitely need to hit that subscribe button, because we might be covering your favourite film very, very soon. In at number 3, the soundtrack adds pure 90s and thousands nostalgia. The soundtrack, I always say, is a crucial thing for many films. And it either makes or it can break a film. If your soundtrack's not right, like Suicide Squad 2016, where you're getting a clump of music, then no music for the rest of the film, it kills the film, and it doesn't matter how it goes, because it's killed the transitions. Whereas in this film, the transitions, and it tells the story of them coming of age, the sort of songs I'd be listening to. And at the time, you had likes of Weezer, Blink-182, these sorts of pop-punky bands coming through, and telling the story of those 90s and thousands pop-punky bands that were coming through, and they get used all the way throughout the American Pie franchise, because they symbolise what these teenagers would be growing up listening to, what these people would be socialising listening to, and the transitions work so well, as it's just pure American. That's what I'm getting the vibe of. And around that time, that was big in America, those kind of big pop punky tunes where you had the pop punk sort of phase coming into America. I just think that sort of vibe matches well with this kind of film that they're trying to tell. The transitions work, the way that the story tells, it's compelling, it works, and just adds flavour to what you already had in the story of American Pie. So there you have it, folks. There's our 3 things that I learned on American Pie. Is there anything I've missed? Comment down below and let us know. And after you rewatched it, what did you learn? Let me know down those comments down below. And if you haven't yet seen some of our other 3 things I learned videos, then there's a full playlist on screen to check out right now. However, if you don't want to watch that right now, hit the subscribe button and join us next time.